What if I told you that one of the most critical systems protecting your home isn't the alarm, it isn't even the roof, but it's something you probably walk past every single day without a second thought? We're talking about your gutters, and today we're going to dive into why this super simple system is just so incredibly vital.
I mean, really think about it. This simple network of pipes and channels is your home's #1 defense against some of the most expensive and, honestly, catastrophic repairs you can imagine. The answer to this question, it's not just interesting, it could literally save you a small fortune.
And believe me, fortune is not an exaggeration. When gutters fail, the water damage can lead to foundation repairs that easily run into the tens of thousands of dollars. This is a classic case where a tiny bit of prevention is worth a whole lot of cure.
So let's break down exactly how this happens. I mean, how can a few trapped leaves really truly spiral into a full-blown crisis for your entire home?
The whole concept is beautifully simple, right? Gutters are there to catch all the rain that hits your roof and guide it on a nice, controlled path far away from the base of your house. Their one and only job is to keep the ground around your foundation stable and dry. But what happens when that system just stops working?
Well, this is the chain reaction. It all starts with something so simple, like a little dam made of leaves and twigs. But when the water overflows and just pools at the base of your house, the soil gets saturated. Think of it like a giant, super heavy sponge that is constantly pushing against your basement walls. That immense nonstop pressure, well, that's what eventually causes the foundation to crack and start leaking.
And the damage goes way, way beyond just the foundation. The ripple effect is huge. You've got water in the basement, rot in the wood along your roof line, and then you've got the health hazards from mold. You're also looking at ruined landscaping and pretty much a welcome mat for pests. It is a total system failure.
Okay, enough with the scary stuff. The good news here is that preventing all of this is actually surprisingly straightforward. So, let's get into the actionable plan, your maintenance playbook.
For most homeowners, the magic number is 2, just 2 times a year. Think of it like a pregame and a postgame. The spring cleaning gets your gutters ready for those heavy rains, and the fall cleaning is absolutely crucial to get all the leaves out before they can freeze into a solid block of ice.
But listen, that twice-a-year schedule isn't a hard and fast rule. Here's a pro tip. If your house is surrounded by a lot of trees, we're talking big ones like oaks or maples, you're going to want to bump that up to a quarterly cleaning. That's the only way to really stay on top of things.
So what does maintenance actually mean here? It's not just about scooping out a few handfuls of wet leaves. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the cleaning and, just as important, the inspection.
So you've got a few ways to tackle this. Cleaning by hand is by far the most thorough way to get all that gunk out. After that, a garden hose is perfect. It not only flushes out the little bits of dirt, but it also doubles as a leak detector. A leaf blower? Yeah, it can't work in a pinch, but only if the debris is totally bone dry.
And hey, while you're up there on the ladder, this is the perfect time to run through a quick inspection checklist. Are the downspouts attached securely? See any standing water? That's a dead giveaway of an improper slope. Look for any obvious damage like rust spots or cracks, and make sure the seams between the gutter sections are still sealed up tight.
This, of course, brings us to the big question. Do you do it yourself, or do you hire a pro? Well, DIY obviously saves you some cash, but let's be real. Working high up on a ladder comes with some serious safety risks. A professional service costs money, sure, but they handle the safety side of things, and their expert eye can spot subtle problems during an inspection that you might totally miss.
So, what if your inspection actually turns something up? First, don't panic. Here is a quick guide to help you troubleshoot some of the most common gutter problems.
This little chart makes diagnosing a problem super simple. If your gutter is sagging, it's almost always a broken hanger. That's an easy hardware swap. See water dripping? That points right to a leaky seam you can fix with some sealant. And that pooling water we talked about, well, that means the gutter's slope or pitch is off and just needs a little adjustment.
Okay, now let's talk about the real unsung hero of this whole system, the downspout. It's so easy to forget about it, but if this one pipe gets clogged, the entire system just grinds to a halt. The key here is to make sure it's clear, and just as important, check where it's dumping all that water. You want it at least 6 feet away from your foundation, so don't be afraid to add an extension if you need to.
So if you're getting a little tired of climbing that ladder every few months, there are definitely ways to get proactive. Let's look at a few upgrades that can seriously level up your home's defenses.
Gutter guards are fantastic. They're designed to block debris while still letting water flow through. You've got a few types. Simple screen guards are fine for moderate leaf fall.
Fine mesh guards are way better if you deal with heavy loads. And these reverse curve systems, they use water tension to pull rain in while debris just slides right off the top. They're the best for homes with really heavy tree coverage.
Now in the winter, your gutters face a completely different kind of threat: ice dams. And here's the fascinating part. The problem doesn't actually start in the gutter. Nope, it starts up in your attic. Heat escaping from a poorly insulated roof melts the snow, which then runs down and refreezes right at the cold edge of the roof, creating this massive ridge of ice that backs everything up.
So how do you fight this? Well, heated cables are a pretty good tactical solution. They can melt the channel for water to escape. But the real long-term strategy is to fix the root cause right in your attic. If you improve your insulation and your ventilation, you'll keep the entire roof cold, which prevents that whole melt-freeze cycle from ever getting started.
You know, as we wrap this up, it all comes back to this one core idea. Don't think of gutter maintenance as just another chore. Think of it as one of the smartest, highest return investments you can possibly make in the long-term health and safety of your home.
So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways. First, we saw how simple, regular cleaning is your #1 defense against some truly catastrophic water damage. Second, that protection covers the very heart of your home, the foundation, the basement, and the roof. And finally, this isn't just about preventing disaster. It's about making the entire system last for decades to come.
And that really brings us to the final question you should be asking yourself. Your home has these guardians working day and night to protect it. The only question left is, have you given them what they need to be ready for the next big storm?